Most people assume Nikola Tesla's most controversial invention simply disappeared because they didn't work. But that explanation has never fully satisfied public curiosity. Because Tesla's story contains all the ingredients that naturally create mystery: unfinished experiments, destroyed laboratories, ambitious predictions, financial collapse, missing documents, and technologies so advanced for their time that even today many people still struggle to separate fact from mythology. And once those elements combine, speculation becomes inevitable. More than a century after Tesla's death, people still ask the same question: what actually happened to his most controversial inventions? The answer is far more complicated than most internet stories suggest. At the beginning of his career, Tesla was not viewed as a mysterious outsider. He was considered one of the most brilliant electrical engineers in the world. His work on alternating current systems helped transform modern civilization. Power grids, motors, electrical transmission systems, much of modern electricity grew directly from technologies Tesla helped pioneer. But later in life, his projects became increasingly ambitious and increasingly difficult to finance. Tesla stopped thinking only about improving existing electrical systems. He began imagining entirely new ways civilization might distribute energy globally: wireless transmission, global communication systems, long-distance electrical resonance, massive experimental towers, energy transmitted through the atmosphere itself. To modern audiences, those ideas sound almost futuristic. But during Tesla's lifetime, many investors started becoming nervous. Not necessarily because every idea was impossible, but because the projects became extraordinarily expensive, difficult to complete, and commercially uncertain. That's where the mythology begins growing. Because some of Tesla's most famous projects were never fully finished. Wardenclyffe Tower is the perfect example. Originally presented as a wireless communication system, the tower later became connected to Tesla's broader ideas about wireless energy transmission. The enormous structure was supposed to demonstrate technologies far beyond anything the public had seen before. But funding collapsed, construction stopped, and eventually the tower was demolished. To historians, this mostly reflects financial and engineering realities. To the internet, it became evidence of suppressed technology. And that difference matters. The real issue isn't whether Tesla secretly invented unlimited free energy. It's why unfinished inventions create stronger fascination than completed ones. Because unfinished ideas leave space for imagination. People begin filling gaps themselves. Maybe the invention worked. Maybe investors became threatened. Maybe corporations suppressed it. Maybe governments seized it. Maybe Tesla discovered something society wasn't ready to handle. Once uncertainty appears, mystery grows rapidly. Especially because Tesla himself encouraged some of that mystique unintentionally. He made dramatic public statements throughout his life. He predicted technologies decades before they existed: wireless communication, remote-controlled devices, global information systems. Some predictions sounded unbelievable at the time, and later became reality. That gave his unfinished projects enormous psychological power. Because if Tesla correctly imagined certain future technologies, people naturally wonder whether some unfinished concepts might also have contained real breakthroughs. And after his death in 1943, the mystery intensified even more. Government officials reviewed Tesla's papers and belongings because some of his later ideas involved military concepts and advanced energy research. That part is historically true. But online discussions often transform that historical fact into something much larger. Suddenly ordinary document reviews become classified secrets. Experimental concepts become hidden technologies. Incomplete theories become suppressed inventions. And over time, the myths grow far beyond the original history. The internet accelerated this process dramatically. Today, Tesla exists in two completely different worlds simultaneously. In the scientific world, he's recognized as one of history's most important electrical engineers. In internet culture, he became something almost mythological, a symbol of hidden technological possibility. That second version of Tesla explains why his most controversial inventions still dominate online discussions today, especially among people interested in energy independence, off-grid systems, DIY electronics, or alternative infrastructure. Because Tesla's story emotionally represents a different technological future. A future where energy might have become more decentralized, more accessible, less dependent on massive infrastructure. Whether that future was ever technically realistic almost becomes secondary emotionally. People want it to feel possible. That emotional desire is extremely important. Modern life depends entirely on systems most people cannot control. Electricity, communication, transportation, and digital infrastructure all operate invisibly behind massive centralized networks. Tesla's unfinished inventions became symbolic of escaping that dependency. That's why so many people continue searching for lost Tesla technology, wireless electricity, or free energy systems online. Not necessarily because they fully believe every claim, but because the deeper emotional idea behind those searches feels compelling. People want resilience, lower costs, independence, backup systems during emergencies, technology that feels empowering instead of distant and corporate. Tesla's unfinished experiments became the perfect symbol for those desires. Of course, this also creates enormous confusion online. Real Tesla patents often get mixed together with exaggerated claims, misunderstood demonstrations, conspiracy theories, and outright fabricated stories. A simple coil experiment becomes evidence of unlimited energy. An unfinished transmission project becomes proof of suppressed technology. Historical gaps become filled with speculation. And because most people are not electrical engineers, separating historical reality from internet mythology becomes extremely difficult. But even skeptical people remain fascinated by Tesla, because underneath all the exaggeration is still a genuinely remarkable truth. Tesla was thinking about the future on a scale most people of his era could barely imagine. And unfinished imagination is incredibly powerful culturally, sometimes even more powerful than completed inventions themselves. That's why Tesla's most controversial ideas never really disappeared. They transformed into something larger than engineering. They became modern technological folklore. A mix of real science, unfinished possibility, public frustration, and the eternal human hope that the future could still work differently than the present. If you want a more structured breakdown of Tesla's major inventions, the historical facts behind the myths, and why his unfinished projects still dominate online discussions about energy and technology today, there's a practical guide linked below. And if you enjoy exploring hidden history, infrastructure, and the psychology behind technological myths, subscribe for more videos like this. Because sometimes the inventions people remember most are not the ones fully completed. They're the ones history never completely explained.